These are significant milestones in a country as young as ours. They serve to remind us of major, perhaps Olympic-sized, milestones to come in the next decade. The 100th of the National Park Service next year, the 250th of our nation in 2025, Philadelphia can have 2026, the 300th of the Old North Church in 2023, and the 400th anniversary of our city in 2030. I pray that all of us gathered here tonight will commit to celebrate each of these milestones in a way that reinforces the core values that make our nation, commonwealth, and city great. The celebration of the 250th anniversary of hanging of our lanterns in 10 years, and the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 11 years, gives us the opportunity to teach future generations about the importance of freedom, liberty, and civic engagement. These values are embodied in the work of our honorary lantern carriers, volunteers from Partners in Health, who helped combat the Ebola virus in West Africa. Tonight, as we celebrate patriots of old, we welcome brand new leaders, our Mayor Marty Walsh, our Governor Charlie Baker. I have two wishes for each of you. May you never again see a winter as the one that and may you find the vision and the resources to help us celebrate the great milestones in our history that lie in the near future. One of our partners in preparing for the sesquicentennial, for you Latin buffs, the National Park Service, will be celebrating their 100th birthday in 2016. I'm delighted to introduce Acting Superintendent Rose Fennel to read Paul Revere's description of his ride.
Reverend Ayres for this shout out for the National Park Service turning 100 years old in 2016. So, 23 years after the events that we're celebrating tonight, Paul Revere sat down and started to recollect on what had happened that fateful night back in 1775. So I'm going to read to you an excerpt from Paul Revere's letter to Jeremy Berman. Dear Sir, having a little leisure, I wish to fulfill my promise of giving you some facts and anecdotes prior to that passage, which I do not remember to have seen in any history of the American Revolution. In the winter, towards the spring, we frequently took turns, two and two, to watch the soldiers by patrolling the streets all night. The Saturday night preceding the 19th of April, about 12 o'clock at night, the boats belonging to the transports were all launched and carried over the sterns of the men of war. They had been previously hauled up and repaired. We likewise found that the grenadiers and light infantry were all taken off duty. From these movements, we expected something serious was to be transacted. On Tuesday evening, the 18th, it was observed that a number of soldiers were marching towards the bottom of the common. About 10 o'clock, Dr. Warren sent in great haste to me and begged that I would immediately set off for Lexington, where Messrs. Hancock and Adams were, and acquaint them of the movement, and that it was thought that they were the objects. When I got to Dr. Warren's house, I found he had sent an express by land to Lexington, a Mr. William Dawes. The Sunday before, by desire of Dr. Warren, I had been to Lexington to Messrs. Hancock and Adams, who were at the Reverend's of the Parks. I returned at night from Charlestown. There, I agreed with the Colonel Comment and some other gentlemen that if the British went out by water, we would show 2 lanterns in the North Church steeple, and if by land, 1 as a signal. For we were apprehensive it would be difficult to cross the Charles River or get over Boston Neck. I left Dr. Warren, called up a friend, and desired him to make the signals. I then went home, took my boots and surtout, and went to the north part of the town, where I kept a boat. 2 friends rowed me across Charles River, a little to the eastward, where the Somerset men were laid. It was then young flood. The ship was winding and the moon was rising. They landed me on the Charlestown side. When I got into the town, I met Colonel Conant and several others. They said they had seen our signals. I told them what was acting and went to get me a horse. I got a horse of Deacon Morgan. While the horse was preparing, Richard Devens, Esquire, who was one of the committee's safety, came to me and told me that he came down from the road from Lexington after sundown that evening, that he met 10 British officers, all well mounted and armed, going up the road. Thus, sir, I have endeavored to give you a short detail of some matters of which perhaps no person but myself have documents or knowledge. I have mentioned some names, some of which you are acquainted with. I wish you would ask them if they can remember the circumstances I allude to. I am, sir, with every sentiment of esteem, your humble servant, Paul Revere.
I first met Mayor Marty Walsh a couple of springs ago at a small community event. There were probably 20 or 30 community members and maybe 50 or 60 candidates for mayor. Almost all of them came up and gave me a quick hi, how are you, in Boston fashion. But Marty chatted with me for about 10 or 15 minutes. Really impressed me that he was interested in the work that we do at the Old North Church, and really in his heart and soul about the importance of history as a key part of who we are as Bostonians and as citizens in Massachusetts. So I'm delighted to stand here tonight to introduce Dorchester native, who understands the importance of Boston's history for Boston's future. The son of Irish immigrants, Mayor Walsh overcame cancer as a child and substance abuse as a young adult. Elected to the House of Representatives at age 29, Mayor Walsh was a strong champion for civil rights, an advocate for the recovery community, and an able broker among competing economic interests. As our new mayor, Marty has launched numerous initiatives to make Boston a healthier, more inclusive, and more vibrant community. We look forward to his success and are delighted to welcome Mayor Marty Walsh tonight as our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Berman, and thank you for that kind introduction. We're actually 75 of us, I think, are going from here. I also want to thank the Old North Church, the Old North Church Foundation, for keeping this wonderful tradition alive. I want to recognize the other day that his wife and daughter here with us. We're going to be forever links to snow, you know. I'll tell you a quick story. I was at an event probably about 2 months ago. There was a woman there with a 5-year-old child. She said, would you please take a picture with my son? I said, absolutely, I'd love to. So I take a picture, he's looking at me, so I'm going to Phyllis Roy was there, and came over and said, do you know who that is? He said, who is it? Charlie Baily. Phyllis said, no, that's the mayor of Boston. No, it's Charlie Baily. He's wearing a blue sweater. I'm going to thank the governor for being here. State Representative Apple as well, and City Council San Martina, thank you very much as well. Thank you to Veteran Secretary Francisco Urena and Boston's Veteran Services Commissioner Giselle Shirley is here with us. And a special thank you for your greatest work and dedication and help here from all the force departments and help with us, and I thank you very much. It's an honor to celebrate the patriotic tradition of all of you. The truth is that Boston has and always will be a proud city of patriots. That's been true whether it's been 1775 or 2015. Our modern day patriots come in many different forms, as men and women defending our country overseas, as veterans returning home for years of service, as first responders rushing to the scene of an emergency, as doctors protecting health and safety of our communities. These modern day patriots all have something in common that binds them to history. They are all guided by our values defined by our patriots 240 years ago. These values of strength, resilience, and leadership build our nation. And they were the values that fueled Paul Revere as he took his famous ride that April 9th in 1775. I'd like to quote from historian Esther Forbes' biography, Paul Revere and the World He Lived in. She commented that Paul Revere was something greater than himself, not merely one man riding one horse on a certainly lonely night of long ago, but a symbol to which his countrymen can yet turn. Paul Revere started a ride which, in a way, has never ended. As Esther was right, that night in 1775, Paul Revere helped light the revolutionary spark that founded the nation. He and all of us as Americans embarked on a ride for freedom that has not yet ended. The ride for freedom has carried us throughout the centuries. It has driven us through wars against tyranny, through the fight to end slavery, through the waves of the civil rights movement. Boston has always been at the forefront in defending our liberty. So we ask ourselves, what does Boston's fight for freedom look like in 2015? I believe freedom requires that all Bostonians have equal access to opportunity. We've come a long way in making sure everyone has equal rights to those opportunities. But we have to work more to make sure everyone has equal access. And so the ride continues on. In 2015, Boston is strong, but faces significant challenges. While our population continues to grow, so does our needs for affordable housing, for reliable transportation, for access to quality education, for good jobs and financial security. These goods make up the foundation everyone needs in order to exercise their American rights and freedoms. If we believe in those freedoms, we have a shared obligation to build and support them together. That means making Boston a city where there is home for everyone. There is great diversity of housing needs in our city. We are working to build housing in middle-class and low-income residents, for young workers and for families, for our seniors and our disabled residents, and for our students, and for everyone who makes up our community. And so the ride continues on. The success of our neighborhoods rides on the success of our young people. And the foundation for that success is quality education. We are taking steps to spread the opportunity more widely here in the city of Boston. That means expanding our pre-K kindergarten with the goal of serving every 4-year-old in our city. That means increasing the quality learning time for students through 8th grade. That means redesigning our high schools for a 21st century education. We have committed to making Boston a city that is recognized for its world-class public education system, in addition to our world-class higher education. Every student deserves the same opportunity to succeed, and so our ride continues on. We celebrate our city's economic success, but we recognize that opportunity is distributed unevenly across neighborhoods. The truth is that Boston still ranks high in the measure of inequality. Too many of our residents who live with insecurity about where their finances and their family's future lie. In today's world, the lack of opportunity is undermining the economic freedom. It's a barrier to the American dream. Freedom means empowering people that will combat inequality themselves. That's what we're working on in the Office of Financial Empowerment. We launched last year providing access to capital, financial education, and financial services. We also know that financial empowerment is affected by gender and racial gaps, and it has been the long focus of our nation's fight for freedom. In 2015, women in Boston made 83 cents on the dollar that every man makes. And the statistics for women of color are even more unequal. These persistent inequalities reflect long-standing barriers to opportunity. Part of fixing this opportunity gap is increasing wages, but we also must change the culture of the workplace in government as well as in private enterprise. To fulfill its revolutionary legacy, Boston must take the lead on this issue by example for the rest of the nation. That means empowering our city's strengths. We believe that one of the deepest strengths in our diversity of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, but it's up to us to truly empower and strengthen to improve our city. I believe that leadership in public and private sectors should reflect Boston's people. This time, we will make that commitment. In the city of Boston, our Office of Diversity is creating a blueprint to move us forward. We'll be able to monitor and progress our diversity goals and take action whenever we're not meeting them. And so the ride continues on. As long as I am there, we will work every day to make sure Boston is a place of opportunity for all. We will keep pushing forward until the same rights and freedoms are available to every Bostonian, regardless of class, culture, race, or gender. But Boston's revolutionary history is more than just a story from the past. It's our identity. It's what defines us. The call for freedom in 2015 is a call that began in 1775. That call keeps ringing throughout generations and will continue to propel us further towards a more equal, just society. So as we see the land flint once again tonight, we know Paul Revere's ride will continue on. In the work we do every day to advance the cause of freedom and opportunity. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come tonight.
Established in 1975 when President Gerald Ford celebrated the nation's 200th birthday here at Old North. The Old North Foundation is proud to give third language to community leaders who love history and promote our shared values, freedom, liberty, and civic engagement. Mayor Walsh, we are grateful for your trust tonight, and we look forward to working with your administration as we prepare the 250th birthday of our country in 2025. May this land light our life as we build a bright future that you describe in Boston.